How you doing, guys? It's Ricky from Average Skate Reviews and Unknown Boards. Now, going forward, just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the changes that we've made to the current board. The last board that you saw was obviously pre-production, and on the site at the moment, we've still got the pre-production model up for sale. We are updating the photographs. We've just had a photo shoot done, so that will be updated in due course very, very soon. But I just wanted to talk about some of the changes that we've made since releasing the board, back a few months ago. So number one was obviously the grip tape design. Now, the grip tape design was purely just something that I put on there and gave to Chris because he was really into his Evolve boards, and so obviously I wanted to try and get him away from Evolve. And so I just sort of designed the grip tape to look similar to his Evolve Bamboo GT, so that it sort of made him feel a little bit more easier about moving over from the Evolve to the new custom board. But we just stuck it on the site like that because we didn't have anything thought up. We didn't know what we wanted to do with the design, so it's taken quite a while to actually figure out what we're going to do with this grip tape. And now we've finally got a design that we've released. We've got custom grip tape made by a company in the UK that we're going to be selling on the site as well, so that'll all be updated in due course. But again, that's the first change that we've made to the board, was obviously getting the look of the board right with this new grip tape design. Second change we made was the enclosure. So the enclosure is slightly wider and slightly shorter than the original one that was on the current board. It's also got the ring shank holes that are made specifically for this enclosure for our deck, so that it fits absolutely perfectly and it looks amazing as well. So I'm really happy with the way that's turned out, how clean the build looks. We're installing a 13 amp charge port, so on every single board that we ship now, rather than your standard DC jack 3.5mm or 5.5mm, one of the two, I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But anyway, that could only that was limited to, shall we say, to being able to only charge up to say 4 or 5 amps, whereas we sell the board with a fast charger which can charge up to 7 amps. You can buy other chargers that can charge even faster, but we're going to ship as standard our 13 amp charge port, which is waterproof. It's got a waterproof cover on it as well, so you're not going to have any issues with that or the cap coming off of it. The third change we made was battery. So the battery that we currently had for sale and was released with the original board was the Samsung 30Qs. I wasn't happy with that battery. I wanted a bigger battery. I wanted to use the Moly cells. So now we've got the 12S4P pack in there using the 21700 cells Moly cell P42As. So it's roughly 16.8 amp hours. So range wise, you can expect in full Savage mode anywhere between 20 and 25 depending on your riding style, but obviously if you're riding in say a medium mode or something like that, you can expect to get a few more miles. And the gear setup that I'm going for with that sort of range estimate there is with the 7-inch AT wheels, the 66 tooth and a 15 tooth on the motor pulley. Now, another change that we've made is we've also gone away from using the plastic wheels that originally were, let's say, like you'd find on Evolves or on the Ondra or one of the other boards out there. There's a lot of them that are actually made of like a composite and plastic material. We're now using a metal hub with metal gears that attaches directly to the wheel, so it's a lot stronger, a lot more durable, and looks really good as well. So the next thing we changed was the trucks. Now, the original trucks that were on the board before weren't the ones that I actually intended to use in the first place anyway. It's just that when ordering the trucks from the company, we had a bit of a mix up. They sent the wrong ones out, and so we used them. But the new ones we're using are a lot stronger, a lot sturdier, all got the gold hardware on and stuff like that, which just sets them off really nicely. Double kingpin trucks. So really happy with the way they're performing, like the way they look. The bushings on them are perfect for anyone that's about 10 stone and below. If you weigh a little bit more than 10 stone, then you might want to consider purchasing some additional bushings from somewhere else that's a bit of a harder compound for you. But again, we will be adding harder bushings to the site in the near future. So the next thing we changed was the motor controller. Now, originally we was going to go with the Spin 10 motor controller. I really liked that motor controller. It was a solid motor controller, but just upon about to order all the units in, a big order of units for selling the boards, and I found out there was a bit of an issue with them. I don't know whether it was a major issue or not, but it was something I didn't really want to get into, and I wanted to make sure that when we got the units, put them in the boards and sent them out to the customers, like yourself, we could make sure that we have no issues with the boards whatsoever. So I moved away from that and I went over to the Fockbox. Now I've used the Fockbox in a current build that I've had, a previous build shall I say, that I've done, and it's been absolutely flawless, and I know a lot of other people that have used it as well. And also there's the Zenith out there, which is basically exactly the same as the Fockbox. So I know it's a true and tried and tested motor controller, and that's the reason why I went for that motor controller in the boards as well. So another thing that I actually went into and done is I wanted to just make the whole build way more cleaner and more professional looking, and obviously the Enclosure was the one that I went for straight away. I wanted to make sure that looked really, really clean, but it also, with me, is the cable management and the internals of the board. So I wanted to make sure that the internals were all plug and play, which means if there was an issue with the BMS, we can send out a new BMS, and it's just a case of unplugging and plugging into a new BMS. So everything's modular now, it's all plug and play, it's all been designed and laid out, so there's any issues or anything goes wrong, it's easily swapped out and replaced. Not only that, as well as if you ever wanted to upgrade, so if you wanted to upgrade to bigger motors, you wanted to change the battery pack, you wanted to add a smart BMS to the battery pack, it's all plug and play, and you'd be able to just buy a new smart BMS, put the additional connectors on that you'd need, and you could plug it straight into what's already in the board. So everything's really hot swappable, upgradable, and everything's just a lot more neater and tidier in the internals there. Also, regarding the pre-production model, again, that was a pre-production model that was put together very, very quickly just for testing, and we thought, well, let's just do a video on it. But the newer board now, all the cable management and the layout of the back of it, the way that it goes into the Enclosure is all nicely sealed, and the cables run in there really nicely. The charge port and power button is just nicely laid out for ease of access. And overall, just the way that the whole board, the fit and the finish of it is just way more, you know, polished now than what it was before and what you've seen on the website, which is really, really great to see. So I'm glad that we've managed to sort out a lot of these little niggly bits and pieces, things that I weren't happy about, sort them out so that when we went into actually selling a production board, that everything was the way it should be and the way you would expect it to be. So the last thing I want to talk about is the serviceability, repairs, upgrades to the board. How does that whole process work, and what can we actually do for you? So I actually currently do repairs for a couple of other skateboard brands that are not based in the UK. So if anybody has an issue with that particular brand board in the UK, they ship it to me, I fix it, and I send it back to them. Now, our boards are made in the UK, we ship from the UK, and we service from the UK. Now, just going back to the last point that I was talking about, the way that I've made and laid the internals out so that everything's modular. If you're not in the UK and you purchase a board and you have an issue, I can jump on a phone call with you, a FaceTime, we can go through, we can work out the problem, we can narrow that problem down to a single component. That way I can ship you out the right component, and like I said, all it's a case of doing is taking the Enclosure off and then unplugging and plugging in the new part, and you're good to go. So in terms of the way I've laid everything out and got the board to the point where, you know, if anything does go wrong and you're not based in the UK, I can get a part shipped out to you very, very quickly, and it's easy to repair your board. And that's the great thing about it. I wanted to make sure that if there is any issues for any reason whatsoever, or somebody breaks something, or something, you know, malfunctions the way it shouldn't be, just due to the fact that it does happen sometimes, that we can get a part out to you very, very quickly, and it's easy for you to be able to get that board up and running and going again. So yeah, that's about it for the board. That's all I wanted to say, and talk to you a little bit about what we've done, how we've made the board more cleaner, more serviceable, and just overall a better quality product. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and don't forget to shoot us an email over at unknownboards.com with any of your queries, and we will get back to you.